In order to grow as a person, you must make a lot of sacrifices. One sacrifice that stands out to me is that you must change your environment. Now, I know what you're thinking. What you're doing currently right now, your environment as it is right now, you're probably comfortable with it, maybe even a little complacent. But if you're looking to grow as a person, reach the next level, quote unquote, trying to beat the Elite Four to become the champion, you must make that sacrifice of changing your environment. See, your current environment, I don't know what it looks like indefinitely. I don't know what it looks like currently, but I'll give you guys an example of how my old environment used to be. You see, my old environment was filled with a lot of partying, a lot of smoking and drinking, a lot of just smoking weed, wasting time, hanging out with friends all the time, chasing girls that I truly didn't like that. And of course, they were lower quality girls as well, just due to the environment that I was in, right? Of course, if you're gonna go to parties all the time, drinking and smoking, the girls that you will attract are going to be of lower quality. The friends that you attract are going to be of lower quality. Essentially, that's kind of how my old environment was. All my friends, and I don't want to bash them because at the end of the day, I do have bonds with those friends and we have a lot of great memories. I don't want to just bash them and say, I don't want to disregard that bond at all. However, the fact of the matter is, when you're trying to level up, a lot of people around you are just not going to be on the same wavelength. They're not going to be on the same frequency. They're not going to have the same mindset. It's called average for a reason, right? If you take 100 people, 80% of those people are going to be average. 20% are going to be above or below average, right? Actually, let's widen that out even a bit more. Let's say maybe 70% are going to be average, and then there's 15% going in each direction. And you can play around with the numbers, of course, but you guys get the idea. A majority of the cohort are going to be average, and then the rest are going to be either above average or below average. And it's up to you. You really have the choice to decide which side of the spectrum you want to be on, right? Now, personally, I made that choice back in the day after I realized and after banging my head numerous times because I knew deep down that I didn't like the lifestyle I was living. I wanted better things for myself. I wanted to level up. I wanted to not be average anymore, simply put. And once I came to that realization, every time I hung out with my average friends or this terrible environment, I started to hate myself more and more. And it's because I came to that realization. This is why they say ignorance is bliss, because if you don't realize that what you're doing is hindering your progression or keeping you away from achieving your goals and your ambitions, then you're never going to feel bad about it. But once you make that realization, then every single time it's going to get that thought, that feeling of what I'm doing is not right, is going to get stronger and stronger each time you do it. And that's basically what happened to me. Eventually, I got to that point where I was like, enough is enough. I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of producing these shit results. And it's all because I can't, quote unquote, lock in, right? I need to lock in, and I'm not doing it if I'm hanging out with these people, smoking weed, drinking alcohol, doing all these, going to parties, living that lifestyle, sleeping late, eating shit food, not working out. So I decided I'm gonna change my environment. I cut off those friends, and to this day, obviously, I look back and I'm like, it's not like they're bad people. They meant well. They all had good hearts. But at the end of the day, it's if I kept hanging out with those people, I would have never been able to reach the level that I'm at right now. And I'm not at a particularly crazy level, but at the same time, I'm far from where I was when I'm talking about this old environment, which is again about like 5 to 7 years ago. I had nothing going for myself. Now, fast forward now, I got a stable job. I'm pretty much in pretty good shape. I'll probably put a picture up right about now. I'm in pretty good shape. I take care of my people. I'm a pretty reliable person, and I have a strict routine that I follow, and I'm getting better by 1% every single day and headed in a good direction. And I'm headed towards achieving my goals, whatever that may be. So the point of this video is to highlight the fact that once I changed my environment, it led me to making the necessary changes in order for me to achieve my goals and ambitions. Now, if you're the type of person that has no goals and ambitions, then go ahead and click off this video because this video is not for you. But if you, on the other hand, are looking to achieve something of greatness, I don't know, you want to get in shape, maybe you want to build a business, or I don't know, maybe you want to invest your money, become a good father, maybe you want to be a father to your kids, you want a kids and wife, All these things, they require you to be responsible. They require you to have discipline, and they require you to have a good environment, because even someone that has a, let's say, an average life, and this example is just purely an example, but average life, they wake up, go to their 9 to 5, come back home. They just maybe they go to the gym, and then after that they just lounge around. Maybe they chill with their wife for a little bit, and they have a kid, and this and that. Eventually, this will be most people's average life. I'm assuming by the time people are in their mid 30s, maybe 40s, have a mortgage, you'll have payments. You might have a family car of some sorts. You might take kids. Your kids might be in school, or they probably will be in school, and then maybe they have like some extracurriculars that you take them to as well. Now, that's pretty much the average life. And even with that type of scenario, you still cannot have a bad environment. Because let's say you have a toxic environment, a bad environment, even with that type of scenario. Let's say your wife is toxic. Now, if your wife is toxic, eventually you're going to face a catastrophic problem, and everything will blow up. And you might get divorced, you might lose custody of the kids. Now, maybe let's say you have that friend group and everyone has bad habits. Over time, those habits will compound and get worse and worse. Even right now, like in your 20s, you can drink and smoke, get away with it. People don't have much responsibilities. But if you continue that degenerate lifestyle into your 30s and 40s, bro, eventually you're going to end up losing money. Maybe you might get into harder drugs, or maybe you might start gambling or something like that. And these are all examples. I've seen these examples in real life. That's why I even bring them up. And then maybe you develop these addictions, and now you're hiding those addictions from your family and your friends. Or maybe not your friends, because your friends are probably doing it with you. And then more and more you do this, you end up destroying your family. You end up being the reason that your family is destroyed. And it's all because your environment, right? If you were not around those friends that were doing all those bad things, then you wouldn't likely have done them yourselves. Maybe you would have, I don't know, who knows, but there's a lesser chance if your environment was a good environment. So this is why your environment is very important. You want to make sure that you're surrounded by like-minded people that want to achieve similar things. They don't have to achieve the same things that you want to achieve, but at the same time, you want them to have a similar caliber of goals, right? If you want to run a business, maybe you want to be around people that also run businesses of their own. So then you guys can bounce back and forth with ideas, maybe motivation, this and that. You guys are on the same frequency. So you guys have a lot to give and take from one another in terms of knowledge, anything really. And if you want to be fit, it's imperative that you are around people that also find that to be important in their lives. They also want to be fit or are fit themselves already. It is tough to find people with the same type of mindset, because especially if you have like a bad environment or like bad friends. I'm just going to use the bad friends environment. I'm going to use the bad friends example. When you have bad friends, like, you probably have a shit mindset yourself. So now you're probably asking me, like, how do you find better friends? Because why are these better people, or these people that are fit, or these people with businesses or whatever, why are they going to be friends with me, right? At the end of the day, you just have to put yourself in, again, the environments where they're hanging out. So if perhaps like a gym, I know some of the upscale gyms, you can go to like Planet Fitness. So Planet Fitness is pretty much like tier 1 gym. And then you go to, I live in Canada, so second tier is like Good Life Canada. It's basically a franchise gym, and it's a pretty solid gym. I would say consider it a second tier gym. And then you have Lifetime Fitness, which is, I would say, is pretty much more like an elite gym. This is where you're going to find all the Lamborghinis and all the supercars parked up, all the guys that go there. Because I think the membership is about like $200 to $300 a month. Obviously, you get a whole bunch of amenities. And these are where all the shot callers and ballers are working out. So this is the perfect chance to go and meet people like that. And again, you don't have to be their best friend or anything, but even you just being in that environment is going to help you expose yourself to what is actually possible and what you can work towards. Even having a simple conversation like, hey, what do you do? They're going to tell you, oh, I do this, this is that. You can ask them more questions. Usually people are pretty nice when it comes to those things. So they're going to tell you their life story, and that's going to motivate you. And it's all because you put yourself in that high roller environment. So that's really just one example of how you can change up things. You got to do things and find yourselves in places where people that you want to be are going to be, right? So I don't know. I don't do this personally, but I heard the main gyms usually have people that are very disciplined, and probably guys that you want to be around if you're trying to level up the gym. And then other things, I don't know, maybe the coffee shops. I don't know. This one is a shittier example, but I'm sure at certain times you can find some pretty cool people. And don't be afraid. Sometimes like you can go up to somebody and you can try to say hi, but maybe they're not as receptive, but usually people are pretty nice. And there might be like out of 100 people that you talk to, unless someone's like super busy and is pretty much like you can tell that they're super busy. Usually most of the time people are pretty nice and they're gonna actually respond to you and they'll even answer your questions, whatever the questions may be. And even if they don't, who cares? At least you tried, right? At least you did it. You got out of your comfort zone and you're trying to change your environment. That's the key here. You have to at least try. Don't just think, oh, my environment's shit, and then do absolutely nothing about it, because that's not gonna do anything for you. You gotta at least try. We only got one life here, and we got one life, but we got unlimited tries. That's what I like to say, because life is like a video game, and you can continuously fail, but it doesn't matter because the game is still going on. The only way that you can actually lose in life is if you just click end game. If you put the controller down, or if you put the Game Boy down, then the game is over, essentially. And that's how life is as well. You have unlimited chances. It doesn't matter what happens in the game. You can continue to play, even if you, quote unquote, let's say die. For example, in a Mario game, you have like 3 lives, and then you play, and then you die, and then you reach 0 lives. You lose all your lives. Even after that, you still can play, because it's gonna give you another option. I know it's like, oh, I just hit 0 lives, it's over, right? Game over. Nope. You still have another 3 lives. The game's just gonna give you another 3 lives as long as you continuously click on continue. So think about life like that as well. So change your environment, guys. Give it a try. I promise you, if you don't like where you're at right now in life, it is mainly due to your environment, and it's very important that you change it up, man. You don't want to be hanging out with bad people, hanging out with toxic people. That's a huge one that I know a lot of people probably suffer from. Just hanging out with people that are no good for them. And that's really, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys have any stories of maybe an environment that you guys didn't like? Have you guys changed your environment? Are you guys looking to change your environment? Or maybe you're okay with your environment and everything's okay. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and stay frosty, my friends.